Whoa, how about that? Pretty good stuff, courtesy of the TCU band. Want to thank Elizabeth Kirkendall, event coordinator, for putting that montage together. What a way to kick off a very big night as we say hello to you, coming to you from my home in Fort Worth. I am Mark Istook, class of 1998.
And good evening. I'm John Denton, class of 1985, coming to you from beautiful Southlake, Texas. So we're ready to get this going. The thing that strikes me, I mean, Mike, you mentioned the music. I mean, the level of talent these students have in the music department. I mean, TCU's always been known for its fine arts, but that's astounding. That was really fun to listen to.
Well, I think it's a great way to kick off this evening that is a special night as we celebrate the classes of 1970 and 1971. And I do want to say, I think it goes without saying that we all wish we could be together in person to celebrate 50 years of those two classes. But given the events of this past year, and I'm just thankful that we have technology to bring us here together tonight for a virtual trivia night, John, as we are all gathered around electronically on the World Wide Web. And we got a lot of cool stuff for folks tonight.
Yeah, we do. We've got a full hour of fun. We've got trivia. We're going to take you on a tour of the campus, show you a few things for those that haven't been around the campus in a while. And just, you know, as it says in the alma mater, I mean, memories sweet, comrades true. And we're making the best of it tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun here on the web, and looking forward to it. And a lot of things. Look at all these comments coming in. People from Korea, South Korea, and Boulder, Colorado. And I mean, this is just great. This is just great.
Well, it wouldn't be a party without the engagement of everybody watching tonight. So I want to thank all of you who are watching this for joining us, whether you are a graduate of the class of 70 or 71 or any other year, or you just like the color purple. We're happy that you are with us tonight, and it wouldn't be a fun night without you guys and your comments, so please keep those comments coming. I was going to solicit everybody, John, to let us know where they're from to kind of see who came from the furthest, but as I'm looking over some of these comments so far, I see John Thayer and Sheila Thayer from Richmond, Virginia. That's pretty far away. I thought that might take the cake. Then I see, like you mentioned, Janice Hosman from Seoul, South Korea. Now, I don't have my map app up, so I can't give you the exact distance, but I think that may be about as far as you can get from Fort Worth, Texas.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to need to pull out the slide rule there and figure that one out. I mean, that's pretty amazing, and we're glad that you're with us wherever you're coming from. And as far as the comments go, there's about a 30-second delay, so folks need to realize that. And as we go through, and we'll have some trivia questions tonight, it's pretty much first correct answer in wins. But you know, be patient; those will show up. It'll take about 30 seconds for them to hit the chat board, but we'll get the answers. And also, if you have questions or comments, Mark and I are happy to answer those throughout the program. We're very glad you're with us, and this is going to be a lot of fun. It's all about the 5-0 tonight. So congrats to both of these classes.
We did have to put that 30-second delay in because John likes to work a little bit blue. So we needed that delay to be able to have the sensors ready to go. But he's promised he'll be in his best behavior tonight. So hopefully we won't need it.
I'm going to do my best. You never – there are certain things you never say on the air, as you well know, Mark. And, you know, occasionally during football games, yeah, we'll get a little bit excited. But we try to keep it clean for the most part. Rated G. So.
We got a lot of fun stuff for you guys tonight. And just, again, going back through the comments here, someone posted, how about closest to TCU, half a mile? That's Charles Florsheim, whose name you will hear again later on tonight. Shout out to David Harrell as well, watching, Shannon Cisneros as well. Pretty cool to have all these folks joining us virtually.
Yeah, from near and far. That's great. A lot of great frogs here, and so many of them that I know personally, and that you know, Mark. And then we're making a lot of new friends tonight as well. We're going to meet a lot of great alums throughout the night. We're going to honor some alums, and we're also going to say thank you to several. So this is going to be a fun night.
Now, for folks who have not had a chance to be back on campus recently, maybe because of the pandemic, they were away the past year, or maybe it's been 50 years or so, they might recognize the building over John's right shoulder there, Amon G. Carter Stadium. Look, this entire campus in Fort Worth has changed substantially in the past 50 years, heck, in the past 5 years even. But that building, especially, John, has undergone quite a transformation in recent years.
Yeah, it really has. And it's hard to believe, Mark, that this 2021 football season coming up will be the 10th season in the new Amon G. Carter Stadium that was rebuilt in 2011 and 2012, and then reopened in 12. So this will be the 10th year. But here of late, something new to the new Amon G. Carter Stadium is the new Legends Clubs and Suites, which is about a $110 million project, all donor-driven. We had demand for suites, so we built 22 suites. There's about 1,100 club seats. It is exquisite, and the neat thing is the architects did a great job of making that look like it was always part of the stadium. It's Art Deco on the outside, but you jump ahead about 100 years in technology on the inside. It is fabulous, and we can't wait for you to see. In fact, Mark, let's take a tour right now. What do you say?
Let's do it.
Should we cut the ribbon?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, Horned Frogs, I'm Brian Estridge. And now that our Chancellor, Victor Boschini, our Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Jeremiah Donati, and more importantly, you, our project donors, have cut the ribbon, it's time for us to check out our new space. What do you say we make our way now to the club area? That's right, the club area here at the brand new Legends Club and Suites. 1,050 club seats with access to a state-of-the-art premium space, tens of thousands of square feet. Legends Club members have the benefit of a covered outdoor seating area with access to the social space set to be a fun gathering for all Horned Frogs. A technological-driven space with a new age feel that maintains the cornerstone pieces of our TCU campus. We haven't forgotten our roots and where we came from. And we get to commemorate some of the TCU greats that have transcended TCU athletics. Hey, did you notice the screens? And notice I said screens, plural. There are over 130 televisions in the Legends Club. In addition to that, there are two 18-foot video walls, two drop-down projector screens. So whether you're catching other games prior to Horned Frog kickoff, or you're just back to refill that drink or food order, we have got you covered, and you won't miss a minute of the action. To best serve our fans, you're going to notice multiple bar areas and premium food stations. You can enjoy a variety of game day offerings and local featured guest chefs brought in throughout the year. New to the Legends Club and Suites is the ability to open tabs for both your convenience and to improve the speed of service as well. Hey, why don't you head over to the new Loge seating area, and I'll meet you right over there. A new product offered at Amon G. Carter Stadium is a concept that we've seen around the newer athletic facilities. Loge boxes. 24 boxes on both the north and south ends of the Legends Club level. Each box holder has 6 seats, which offers a social, suite-like atmosphere. Again, you'll see that every little detail ties this space together. Loge box holders will enjoy this exclusive access to their Loge Club with additional food and beverage offerings, comfortable seating options, and private restrooms. Well, we've got one more area to check out, and it is not going to disappoint for you. Why don't we head on up to the Legends Suite level? 22 luxury suites have been added to Amon G. Carter Stadium. But let's first start in the suite lounge area, where guests can take in the game day camaraderie, the scenic views of the tailgating lots, our campus, and a view of downtown Fort Worth like none other. Now the moment suite holders have been waiting for. A Legends luxury suite. fixed seating behind operable glass that can be raised in every suite. There are also a 65-inch and a 55-inch monitor in every one, with room to host a number of guests on game day. The cabinet and storage layout, it was designed to maximize the space within the suite. Well, I hope you enjoyed our tour of the brand new Legends Club here at Amon G. Carter Stadium. It just adds to the world-class game day experience that we all get to benefit from. I look forward to seeing you back here at Amon G. Carter Stadium real soon, cheering on our Horned Frogs. Until then, go Frogs.
Boy, John, that's something else. I'm ready to run through a wall after watching that video. Hey, Coach P, if you're watching, I think I still have some eligibility left. Get me on that football field.
Yeah, we'll get you in the transfer portal. You can transfer from Channel 8 to TCU. You're out.
Lincoln Riley to sign off on it.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. But yeah, it is amazing, and and that final shot, that aerial where they pull away and they show the stadium and the practice fields and the indoor facility and the new Schollmeyer Arena. I mean, that's all happened in the last 20 years. But that Legends Club and Suites are still, for people that are interested, there are still some club seats available. You can contact the Frog Club if you're interested in getting involved in that. It is fabulous, as you could see, and hats off to our video department that put together that video with the drones flying through the windows. And it's amazing what they can do, not only from that standpoint, but also, boy, they made my broadcast partner, Brian Estridge, look really, really good. He was slicked up. I want to know who does his hair. I mean, that was pretty good. But
I mean,
what's that?
Took a shower, put on the jacket.
Hey, I mean, cleaned up big time. But you know what? That's all, thanks to our donors who helped us get that done. There's about 400 donors that made that Legends Club happen. And the neat thing is about 125 of those donors, Mark, are people who had never given to TCU before at all. And they ended up, being major donors to the project. So thanks to them. And also thanks to our teams who have won and created the demand that, that drove that project.
Well, certainly a jewel on the campus to go along with so many other upgrades that have taken place over the past 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years. So folks who have not been back to Fort Worth, I think it's just a great reminder that when you get a chance, come on back and just see how much that campus has evolved and yet still retain that character in the heart of Fort Worth that I think makes it feel like home for so many people.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different campus from what you or I knew or what any of our celebrants here tonight knew, but it's still the same neat place, and that's the neat thing. Mark, I was talking about, winning makes things happen. Let's talk about a winning team right now. Let's talk a little Horned Frog hoops. What do you say?
Let's do it.
How about we honor and recognize the 1971 Southwest Conference champions? That was a great basketball team, and most of them are on with us tonight, and I want to congratulate all those. They went 11-3 for Coach Johnny Swaim, swept through the Southwest Conference on their way to the NCAA tournament. And, I mean, this is a team that was an all-name team. You had guys like Goo and Snake and Bear and Coco. And as I said, most of those are with us tonight. Simpson the Great is with us tonight. He averaged 19 points a game that year. Jim Ferguson is with us. Ricky Bell, who was a guard, averaged 13 points a game. He is a member, Ricky Bell's a member of the 1,000 Point Club, which is a very exclusive club at TCU. Ken Huff was another member of that team who's helped us round up a lot of his teammates tonight. Thank you, Ken, for your help. John Hurdle, of course, I mentioned Goo, the great Goo Kennedy, who we lost back in December. His family is on, along with his wife, Mary. We just want to say hello to Mary and all of the Kennedy family. What a great, great guy Goo went into the Hall of Fame several years ago. Tim McClendon, who was on that team, he's with us tonight. Jimmy Parker, Evans Royal, who was a great player. He's a member of the Block T Association Board of Directors. Steve Bear Smith, there's another great nickname. He's He's with us tonight, along with Mark Stone. Coco Valerial is with us tonight, along with James Snake Williams, who rounds out the roster and also the names. Great nicknames, and glad they're here with us tonight. And also, Mark, we've sent out a little package for them from the Block T Association. If they haven't gotten it already, they're going to get a package with, among the gifts, a little commemorative 1971 Southwest Conference champion cap with the old Southwest Conference logo on it. And those are on the way. If you haven't gotten it, you will. And there's a little surprise attached to those as well. So congratulations to the 1971 Southwest Conference champs. We're proud of you. Great to have you along.
Very, very cool. You mentioned the Block T Association. We're going to get into that a little bit later and explain just what the Block T Association is for folks who are not familiar with that. But Rob, can you pull that picture back up one more time? I am curious, since we are celebrating our 50-year reunion. When you look at this picture, John, which to you screams 1970-71 more? Is it the knee-high socks? Is it the short shorts? Or is it the hairstyles those guys are rocking?
Yeah, I think it's the hair and the sideburns, but also you gotta pay homage to the buckled pants. There are buckles on those basketball shorts, which is screaming late 60s, early 70s. I think that's really cool.
Oh man, and some mutton chops right there to rock with as well. Boy, that picture worth 1,000 words. Hey, let's say we get to some trivia questions.
All right, I bet the audience is waiting with bated breath.
Yes.
You got one to throw at us? You got us a good one?
I do. And we've got some cool swag, by the way, from the folks at the TCU Athletics Department. They provided us to give away to whomever is the first to comment with the correct answer. And I want to remind you, as we mentioned before, there's about a 30-second delay or so. So we're just going to fill that time with some Jeopardy theme music playing in our heads as we await those answers. So let's, without further ado, get to the very first one. It is a pop culture trivia question. The TCU Alumni Association put together a Spotify playlist of music for the 70s. If you're somebody who rocks Spotify, we're going to put that link in the chat for you to save to your library. This is a question that relates to a popular music group. Which band announced their breakup on April 10th, 1970? First correct answer in the chat is the winner.
Was it Canned Heat?
Man, I don't know if you're making up names or not.
How about the 1910 Fruit Gum Company? That's a legit group right there. Was it?
I mean, when you think about some of the names, and I think I may have seen the correct answer, Janice Hoseman looks like she weighed in all the way from Seoul, I believe, with the Beatles.
Did she?
She did.
Oh, the Beatles. The Beatles.
Oh,
some real vinyl right here now.
Wow.
That is a beat up. That's a first edition Beatles album right there. My daughter gave me for Christmas a couple of years ago. I'm very proud of it. So
well, very cool, and very cool to see Janice weigh in with the correct answer. By the way, she was the first in a long string of correct answers, various spellings of the word Beatles, just so we're clear. But to be fair, the Beatles didn't exactly announce their breakup. Paul McCartney basically released a statement discussing the end of the band and his debut solo album, and that's how he did it back in 1971.
He said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've had enough. I'm out. I'm going back to Liverpool. See you. Peace.
Oh, you know what? This entertainment's free tonight. They didn't have to pay for this. They get this kind of entertainment for free.
Yeah.
Since we're kind of going in the Wayback Machine and celebrating campus life back in the 70s and talking music, here's a fun fact for you. Jefferson Airplane performed on the TCU campus November 1st, 1970. About 6,000 students and community members showed up for that show in Daniel Meyer Coliseum. As you can imagine, there might have been some illicit substances on campus. No Fort Worth police there to police the event. But a lot of folks thought Jefferson Airplane degraded the image of TCU and will not be invited back. Take a look at the skiff from that time. And the question was, is this wholesome entertainment?
Can you imagine this going on in Daniel Meyer Coliseum?
I'm sure a lot of stuff has gone on in there. This might take the cake, though.
Grace Slick and 6,000 concert goers with no police. Wow. Yeah. Now, you know what? Is there anybody along with us here tonight who remembers that or was there? Now, I think, Mark, if they say they remember it, I don't think they were there. I mean, just let's be honest, okay? But I would be interested to see a hand or two of anybody that was actually there that wandered in there.
Tim McClendon says Hot Tuna was the opening act.
Well, see, that's a group that I did not name. I'm not that well read. I was doing Canned Heat and the Monkees and maybe, the Guess Who. So.
Well, certainly some good musical memories for whatever Tim could remember from that night. As you take a look back, we'll throw a couple of other fun musical facts out for the musical scene back in the 70s. Top song for 1970, Bridge Over Troubled Water by Simon and Garfunkel. In 1971, fast forward a year, Joy to the World by Three Dog Night.
Jeremiah was a bullfrog, or should we say a horned frog?
I like that one better.
Yeah. First line of the song. That was a great hit for Three Dog Night.
Okay, so congratulations to, was it Janice that got our question correct? We'll have some more trivia questions coming up for you in just a bit. But I did mention earlier the Block T Association. That's an association that might be a new name for some folks, John.
Yeah, it really is. Back in November, what used to be the TCU Letterman's Association went through a rebranding and went back to the future with the name Block T Association, which Block T representing the big Block T letter that student athletes earn at TCU. We went back and did some research. It's pretty interesting. The first letters or letter sweaters that we can account for were handed out back in 1896, which was the first year that TCU had a football team. So they've been handing out the old Block T, what is that, 125 years or so? And so we thought it'd be appropriate to pay homage to that. And so thus the rebranding, and it really is representative of the letter jacket that's over my shoulder there that athletes have gotten for over 125 years. And the Letterman's, what was the Letterman's Association, has been around since 1923. So that association's coming up quickly on its 100th anniversary. But now it's known for the great barbecue and the tailgate on game days. Also, the association administers and runs the TCU Athletics Hall of Fame. That's one of the functions of the association. But one of the things that we're really starting to work on now is building membership, not only among former athletes, but we're also now with the current student athletes. The minute that they read a letter at TCU, they go right into the association and begin to be able to get the communication from the association and start to take advantage of some of the mentorship programs and some of the networking. The Block T Association has teamed up with the Alumni Association on Horned Frogs Connect, which is kind of a TCU version of LinkedIn, where you can go on, register, and load up a resume. What we want to get to in the Block T Association is, Mark, if somebody is an alum and they have a business and they're looking to hire somebody to fill a spot, hopefully if they're a letter winner, they start looking for former players at TCU and kind of, fill the brotherhood and bring value to the membership and also bring value to the status of being a former letter winner at TCU. So that's in a nutshell what the Block T Association is all about. Anybody that's on with us tonight who's a former letter winner, who's not involved, go to blockt.tcu.edu, get signed up, and start taking advantage of some of the member benefits, including some cool swag, like some of these cool hats that have the chenille T on them. It's a miniature version of what you got on your jacket, and we've got a lot more stuff. So looking forward to that. Well, about 3,000 active members right now, and we're looking to build that.
Well, I think, and you and I have talked about this before, John, but my experience as an alum has been as rewarding, if not more so, than my 4 years on campus. And I know that that's been the experience for a lot of folks. When you can get away from the stress of classes and some of that stuff that just goes on with being a student and just enjoy being a part of the life of the university, whether it is showing up for a virtual reunion and a trivia night, or if it's coming to a game, if it's supporting academic programs financially, showing up on campus, whatever it is, I think that it has been an incredibly rewarding experience to be a graduate of TCU. Like I said, as much or more so than even being a student. And I think that the Block T Association and the efforts to expand that just provide more opportunities for that kind of engagement. And like a lot of things in life, This is a situation where you get out so much more than you put in. You put in just a little bit, and I think you get far more in return.
Oh, sure. And, and I think it's one of those things that, as we grind through school and you're just trying to get to graduation, and, TCU's a neat world to live in. It's a neat environment. But once you get to the other side, after you've, walked across the stage and gotten that diploma, you go out, you're starting to look for jobs. And, the Alumni Association is there. The Block T Association is there. TCU's been in the same spot on University Drive since 1915. It's not going anywhere. And it's a bigger world for you as an alum than it was as a student. I mean, there's a ton of opportunities, not only with the two organizations we're talking about, but also, through the colleges that are located all over campus.
Well, I think that we're just looking at the comments. That is a testament to that. When you see folks that have gone far and wide from Fort Worth and ended up in Seoul, Korea, states across the country, around the world, I think it just speaks to that. So, again, keep those comments coming tonight as we continue to celebrate the class of 1970 and 1971. And in doing so, John, I want to give a shout out to the reunion chairs from those classes who have spent so much time, so much effort working for the past couple of years to promote their reunion. And of course, as you can imagine, having to pivot, kind of a key word we've all gotten used to over the past year because of this coronavirus pandemic, having to pivot to an online experience. I want to start off just by recognizing Charles and Ann Collins-Florsheim. They are the reunion co-chairs of 1971, and they shared a pretty cool story with us on how they met at TCU. So in their voice, it reads, "My roommate during my sophomore year was Valerie Neal, who dated Charles's roommate for several months. They had the idea to set Charles and me up on a date, had us talk on the phone one night while they were talking, and they agreed to all go together to a picnic the next day. Charles was a no-show and never called to apologize or ask Ann out again. I have a feeling the story is going to take a turn. 2 years later, a good friend and sorority sister, Lee Crane, was marrying Sam Wood, and Ann was in the wedding party. Didn't have a date to the dinner and party afterward, and strongly objected to the idea of being set up with Charles again. I can't say I blame her, but this time they did get along on what was their first date more than 50 years ago, and they have now been married for 47 years. So kudos to Charles and Ann Collins-Florsheim for their work in chairing the class of 71 reunion and for making it 47 years.
I think Charles gets the comeback player of the year award, or of the reunion award. That's a pretty good story there, when he didn't call back to apologize, but still, it all panned out. That's what being a frog's all about. Well, I've got a story. Our chair for the 1970 class is the great Bill Evans, a great guy. There's a photo of him right there when he was a younger man. And boy, look at all those grandkids now. That's fabulous. But he told a story about the fall of '67, Friday afternoon. It's a nice, September afternoon. And, TCU was doing some things on campus for students. And one of the things that he wandered upon was the great Fats Domino, the great piano player out of New Orleans that had numerous hits, Blueberry Hill and many others. And they had him set up on a stage over under the east side of Amon G. Carter Stadium. And Bill and some of his friends went over and just basically had an afternoon chatting it up with about 20, 25 other students and Fats Domino. And he basically just played whatever they asked him to play and had a great time. And he said right then and there that afternoon, he said, I knew I was in the right place. And I think we've all had those experiences where it was kind of an epiphany that, wow, no matter where you were on campus, or maybe you were at an event as an undergrad, and you're like, you know what, I'm in the right spot. I made the right decision. And that's when TCU kind of drops on you and you realize, wow, this is a special place.
Well, and it's been cool for me. I lived in California for quite a long time. And as a lot of folks know, California provides the second most students to TCU from any state other than the state of Texas, second behind Texas. And I would talk to parents of students about, hey, what was it? What was it about TCU that drew you there? You're coming from Orange County, San Francisco, Los Angeles, wherever. And they would talk about how they showed up on campus and they took the tour and they met the folks and they just knew they were home. 1,500 miles or so, or whatever it is from the West Coast. So cool to hear what that moment was for so many different people, especially Bill Evans. So again, congratulations to him and thanks to him for his work on the class of 1970 reunion. Well, let's also recognize some of the committee members that helped make this possible. So looking at the class of 1970, You also have Sally Hugel Brown, Bill Provine, Bob Craig, Suzanne Bartlett Craig, W.L. Gray, Chuck Holm, Pam Nelson Holm, Andy Lang, and Danny Harris. Thank you to all of you for your tireless efforts.
Well, it takes a lot of work, especially when we're doing things virtually. I mean, it's as much work as when you're going to hold an event in person. Class of 71, the great Mike Bashir, Joyanne Weaver Havron, Nancy Collier Christer, Bill Landreth. Hello, Bill. Valerie Neal, Nancy Huthmacher Palmer, Rix Quinn, Reed Renninger, Betsy Rose Center, Charles Thompson, Rick Wilshire, and Paula Reeves' work. Thank you so much for all your work and help and effort, and congratulations on what I think is probably the first virtual reunions in TCU history. Answer to a trivia question one day, which, by the way, I think, Mark, we've got a sports trivia question.
We do, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. But I also wanted to give a shout out to some of the other folks celebrating their 50th reunion because Alumni Relations recently visited with a couple classmates from the 50th reunion. Bubba Thornton, which is a name a lot of TCU fans remember, Valerie Neal as well. They joined the Frog for Life podcast and want to share just a real quick cut of that conversation.
Valerie, I wanted to interrupt here. Was it hard to write about something that you had no knowledge of?
Not really, because what you learn as an English and history major is to do research and to learn what you don't know and to learn it well enough to write about it so other people can understand it. And so I've always said that TCU was the best part of my education, more so than my two graduate schools, because I learned those skills and I learned those habits of mind. And so once you know how to learn, then you can learn about anything.
Wow.
Pretty cool words. And you can hear the rest of that podcast by finding the TCU Alumni YouTube channel or by searching TCU Alumni Podcast on Apple Podcasts. So thanks to Bubba Thornton and Valerie Neal for sharing their time with us. And that's a cool listen. This will be an upcoming cool listen as well. If you join us at 12 o'clock Central Time, noon, on Tuesday, April 6th, we'll be having a conversation with celebrated novelist, #1 New York Times bestselling author, fellow 1970 classmate Sue Monk Kidd. She'll be talking about her most recent novel, The Book of Longings. So if you want to watch that, it'll be available live on both the TCU Alumni Facebook page and the YouTube pages, as well as the TCU Magazine Facebook page. Also, we're going to send out an email next week for some extra information on how you could submit questions for that event. Just a pretty cool experience coming up on Tuesday, April 6th, roughly noon to 1 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, that's really neat. I mean, New York Times bestseller list. I mean, that's really neat. Looking forward to that very much.
And I think I may have seen a copy of that book floating around our house somewhere here. So definitely going to brush up before that conversation on the 6th. Okay, now I want to get back on track. I want to get back to that trivia question that you mentioned earlier, John, so we can help give out some more fun TCU athletics swag. You're going to take this one away. Yeah,
you bet. All right. 1971, spring of 71, a TCU alum who played on the PGA Tour won the Masters. He's the first TCU alum to win the Masters or to win any major. So the question is, who was that? And you're playing for some cool swag from TCU Athletics. You're also playing for some swag from the Augusta National Golf Club. So pretty big question. Some good prizes coming your way. Who won the Masters in 1971?
And I don't think you can pick that hat up at Academy, can you?
No, you got to. This is directly from the Augusta National Country Club or Golf Club. You can't get it online. You can't get it at Academy. You're right.
Boom. I see Bob Craig weighing in. Charles Coody.
He got it. Charles Coody, class of 60, won the Masters. Had to stare down Jack Nicklaus, Tom Weiskopf, Gary Player, and I think a very young Johnny Miller to win the green jacket.
And, my favorite thing about that green jacket as we leave that picture up, I don't think they've changed the cut on that thing in 100 years. It looks like every guy that wins the Masters is given his dad's green jacket.
Yeah, that's right. It's same Taylor company out of Philadelphia that makes those, and they haven't changed it a bit, right down to the gold buttons. I mean, it's a step back into the late 50s or early 60s.
It is not an athletic cut. It's plenty of room to grow into that.
It is. Although Charles will tell you that he is on his third green jacket now, because as life has gone on, and he's as he said, he's a healthy growing boy. He's had to get resized a couple of times. So.
I imagine there's a special phone number you call and they take care of you once you want them.
I would imagine so.
Well, congrats to Bob Craig for getting that answer right. And by the way, while we're looking at our comments, continue to share maybe some iconic moments from athletic moments from your time at TCU, whether you were in the class of 1970 or 71 or since. I imagine we'll have a lot of folks weighing in with the Rose Bowl, which I enjoyed watching in that video of the Amon G. Carter expansion earlier, by the way.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I still pinch myself. I mean, I've been on the air now doing games for 32 years, Mark, and that I still every now and again just have to pop that on and make sure it really happened. Amazing.
Yeah, well, a special day for Frog fans or people who just love the city of Fort Worth. It was just a neat moment, and as someone who lived in Los Angeles at the time, to be there in Pasadena on that gorgeous day, that one's going to stay with me for a while. Hey, let's get to another trivia question, shall we?
All right, let's do it.
All right, we're going to talk iconic locations on campus, and our student foundation members who have been walking backwards, they're like, flight attendants giving directions, pointing out things on campus since 1976, leading tours for visitors, prospective students, and their families. There was a tour yesterday, but we've got the link to the video in the comments here, or you can find it in the TCU Alumni Worldwide YouTube library if you'd like to see that. So for our next question, we're kind of going with that theme. We've got an image of a location on campus. Tell us where that photo was taken, and if you've already guessed right, let someone else.
Oh my! You see those double doors right there, Mark? That's trouble. That means there's a geology exam about to happen, and I am not prepared. That's going to be a problem. I mean, that's anything scientific. I mean, that building. I walked quickly as I went by there.
Hey, I failed organic chemistry in that building.
Oh, well, there you go. Let's see.
James is close. He calls it the science building. And it looks like Nancy has the correct answer. Sid Richardson.
Yes.
The official name is the Sid W. Richardson Physical Sciences Building. Nancy, the judges are going to give that one to you. They think it was close enough. Congratulations to Nancy.
Yeah, she wins a Bunsen burner. Congratulations, Nancy.
A lab coat.
That's right. And a Bunsen burner.
So a little history on that building. It was built next to Winton Scott Hall of Science. It was dedicated in 1971. It's got, as we kind of alluded to, the departments of geology, physics, environmental science, and chemistry. And I think I took a philosophy class in those halls, although the department may not be there, but I certainly had a class in there because they're the largest classrooms, or some of them, on campus. It is also home to the Monig Meteorite Galaxy, one of the largest exhibits of meteorites in the world. 3,000 space rocks, John.
Yeah. I mean, it is amazing. They've done an amazing job putting that together, and it's been remodeled and expanded over the years. And I mean, just a real over the last year with COVID and limitations on visitors to campus. I mean, that when things open back up, you got to get in there and go see that. They've modernized it, and it is really great. And it's a great gift from the Monig family years ago to fund to get that started. And 3,000 meteorites. I mean, that's saying something. I don't know how to find a meteorite. Do you go out with some special glasses and a fielder's mitt and catch it on the way down? Or
it might burn right through. When you're in the field and you see them, I wouldn't know the difference, which again is probably why I didn't pass organic chemistry.
Yeah.
Now here's some pretty cool trivia for you. There was a U.S. president at the time who attended the dedication. The 30-second delay is going to kill us here if I try to get people to guess. I'll just go ahead and tell you. President LBJ and First Lady Lady Bird Johnson, who were friends with Sid Richardson, attended that opening on October 16th of 1971.
Yeah, pretty neat. I mean, he was just, out of office, 3 years? And, he and Sid Richardson were big buddies, and I'm sure Sid supported him through his political career. And I mean, to have somebody like that show up, I mean, that's a neat deal. Very, very classy.
And, we talked earlier about the amount of expansion that's happened on campus in the past couple of decades. The 70s saw quite a bit of building as well. You saw Brackman Hall, co-ed dormitory, that was built in the 70s. The Annie Richardson Bass building, the Rickel building, Cyrus K. and Ann Rickel building was built. Mary Lipscomb Wiggins Hall, the women's dorm, was built. So a lot of construction going on in the 70s.
Yeah, and a lot of what you're mentioning there is kind of the southwest part of the campus, and a lot of it, what we, refer to as the Greek area, which actually was the old Worth Hills golf course that TCU very wisely worked a deal with the city of Fort Worth and acquired that land so the campus and the university could expand that way. And that was a smart move, because even now, the university is growing quickly and is almost landlocked again. Too bad there's not a golf course on the east side of campus that they could acquire. But that was pretty smart on the part of university leadership back in the day to get all that extra space, which is now home to Lupton Stadium and Garvey Rosenthal soccer stadium and the track stadium and the expanded tennis center. I think out of all that old golf course, I think there's one old tee box that is still there that hasn't been disturbed in all the construction. So
just for old time's sake.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we mentioned the meteorite gallery a minute ago. Why don't we stick with the space theme for our next trivia question? And this one, I'm curious to see how our comments shake out. I'll just go ahead and get to our question. NASA's Apollo 13 mission was headed to what planet when it experienced life-threatening malfunctions? I'm going to fire up the Ron Howard movie to try to get the answer to this one.
That's right. Houston, we have a problem.
All right, I'm looking at the comments here, and let's see if anybody has weighed in yet. By the way, here I'll share a fun little nugget. It looks like we have our first answer correct, and it's Valerie Neal, who's we mentioned earlier. That's part of the TCU Alumni Podcast. She has the correct answer. It's kind of a trick question.
It is.
The moon isn't a planet.
It's a curveball. You're right. The moon is not a planet. People say, well, what is it? It's a moon.
It's the moon. So that mission took place on April 11th, 1970. They were headed to the moon with Commander Jim Lovell on board, Command Module Pilot Jack Swigert, and Lunar Module Pilot Fred Hayes. And, of course, they ran into some difficulties up in space. Everybody thought it was going to be touch and go for a while. Not sure if they're going to be able to make it back home. They did make it back safely. And a story I've shared with you before, John, I'm at dinner with some friends a year or so ago, and the gentleman at the table with us, husband of a friend of mine, turns out his dad was, I guess, the main NASA engineer at the time in the group of guys that figured out, basically with duct tape and pipe cleaners, how to put this spaceship back together and get them home safely. What a claim to fame.
Yeah, that's amazing. Working under the gun and, what few materials do they have on board that they could use? And as you mentioned, is duct tape and gauze and maybe a little wire. And it's just amazing. And you think about these days, your common cell phone has more computing power than what they had on that spaceship. And, as it turns out, it really was just a tin can that was full of compressed air that they basically had to manually aim at the Earth to get back. That's pretty amazing.
I'm sorry, John, I'm looking at this comment that we just threw up. Can we throw that one up again, Rob, about Valerie Neal, the former curator of the National Air and Space Museum? So probably pretty fitting that she got that trivia question correctly and did not make fun of us for the joke about the planet.
Yes, I think so. Maybe we gained some ground. That's not likely, but.
I think that's our cue to move on, although the moon is on the cover of the 1970 yearbook. So there's all kinds of tie-ins to that Apollo mission. Hey, let's keep the trivia questions going as we visit another location on campus. I'm hoping folks can pick this one out. First correct answer is our winner. Where was this picture taken?
This is a good one, Mark.
Now I'm just looking at some visual cues here.
Yeah.
And I do see some rifles, so that's kind of my first cue.
Ready, fire, aim. Is that? No, that's not right.
Yeah.
Ready, aim, fire. But yeah, this is kind of showing the precursor of what has come to be at TCU as a part of a national power.
And there's Charles Florsheim with the correct answer. Or did Linda beat him to it? Oh, I think Linda beat him by mere seconds. Sorry, Charles. Didn't mean to give you a little head fake there. Linda Robinson actually with the correct answer. That is and was the rifle range.
Yeah, Linda with the quick draw there. But two shows on Fridays. Well, congratulations.
So, which, by the way, you alluded to it already, but that is it's a part of campus that, look, let's be honest, most students have not visited, but it is a place where champions are developed, John.
Really, it's now the home. It's been reconditioned, remodeled several years ago, thanks to some help from some very generous donors. And you see a shot of it there. It is home to the TCU rifle team, which is one of the few all-female rifle teams in the nation. They've won 3 national championships over the last several years. They just won last week. They won the national championship in the air rifle portion of the competition. Karen Moniz has done a great job. And you go, if you do go by there, go in there. All the national championship trophies are there. The program has been built up. Karen's done a great job, and it is amazing what those young women have been able to accomplish. And really, they've turned TCU Rifle into a program that is respected and somewhat feared around the country. I always say to alumni groups that I talk to, it's great we're winning all these national championships in rifle. The bad news is we're out shooting the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. But anyway, congratulations to Karen and all of her folks. They just won the conference championship too. Our women's rifle team competes in the Patriot Rifle Conference, and they won that conference title about a month ago. So congratulations to Karen and all of her crew, and congratulations to all of you that have participated in that throughout the years.
That fun little tidbit you threw out about who they're beating is a good joke to make, John. I'm just not going to be the one to make it. But I will give a shout out to Linda Robinson, who was the first one with the correct answer. And by the way, she's the right person to get this one correct. She was one of the first on TCU's co-ed rifle team around 1968, which is the beginning of TCU women competing in rifle competition. And how about this shot from the yearbook back then, graduate of the class of 1971. Very, very cool.
Yeah, no doubt. And Linda's a trailblazer. You see the photo there. You can see, I don't know who that is to her left, but he doesn't look happy, probably because she just outshot him, or she beat him. But a lot of hardware right there in front of her in that photo, no doubt. One of the trailblazers and one of the leaders in the program going back into the late 60s.
Well, Linda, thank you for joining us tonight, and congrats on both your success competing in rifle back in the 70s and also getting that trivia question right tonight. Feels apropos. Hey, we're going to wrap up in just a second, but wanted to, again, just kind of relive some of the fun of the 70s, what it was like being a student back in 1970, 71. What do you think it cost per semester hour to be a student in 1971, John?
Wow. I got on campus in the fall of 80, and I think it was either $90 or $100 then. So I'm guessing, maybe what, 60% of that or less?
You're pretty close. Yeah, those math classes you took paid off, so it was money well spent. $50 a semester hour. And Nancy Kritzer weighed in. She thought 40. Mary McElliott thought 42. Stephen Smith got it right. He thought 50. That is the right answer. $50 an hour back in 1971. It's changed just a little bit since then. It's been right even with inflation.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit over the last 50 years. Wow. Good one.
All right. Well, it cost you $50 an hour to attend a college that had a chancellor in 1971 named James M. Mowdy, and that's a name that's familiar to anybody in the RTVF or now FTDM programs, like I was as a student.
Yeah, same here. Spent a lot of time over there. That building opened and was dedicated in the spring of 1982, and it's a very interesting building. You see the atrium there. It doesn't really look like any other building on campus. The art department's on the north side, and where you and I used to spend a lot of time, Mark, on the south side with as you mentioned, RTVF, which is now changed to digital media. And
yep, FTDM.
It's a lot of, they don't take razor blades to audio tape and cut it up and edit it physically anymore. All that's gone away. It's all done digitally now. I have fun telling young broadcast students about that. They don't believe you actually used to cut tape and put it back together.
Let me tell you, I'm one of those students that had to do that in my classes, and it really chaps me that students today don't have to, because I feel like it really teaches you the basics of editing, and also you don't make so many mistakes when you have to cut your tape manually. But what I wouldn't have given for a computer program to have done that all on a keyboard, boy, these kids have it good, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They do.
But I guess they're paying for it, huh? You know what? It was not $50 an hour back then, a gallon of gas. It was far cheaper. Guess 36 cents a gallon, roughly, in the ballpark of that, depending upon which year. But boy, I'd drive back to the future to go fill up right now.
Yeah, and back then you'd pull in the gas station and they'd pump the gas for you. You know, I mean, you know, it wasn't until the mid to late 70s where, you know, self-service really came into vogue. And in 73 with the energy crisis, I mean, oh my gosh, gas got up to 55 cents a gallon, Mark. Unheard of.
100 of those, and you've just bought yourself a semester hour.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Another hallmark piece of legislation back in the 70s, the U.S. voting age lowered from 21 to 18 years old when the 26th Amendment was ratified. That's when we best used to ratify constitutional amendments.
Yeah, when actually things actually got done in Washington, D.C. Political side note there. But, yeah, how about that? Changed it to 18, which made sense. I mean, you had 18-year-olds being drafted into the military to serve overseas and go fight in different corners of the world. It makes sense. If you can die for your country, you ought to be able to vote.
All right, one last little fun piece of trivia, a little tidbit for you. Walt Disney World Resort opened in Florida October 19th, 1971. So they are coming up on celebrating 50 years of Disney World in Florida.
Well, that's hard to believe, isn't it? You know, I always love reading the stories about how the Walt Disney Company set up these shell companies like Acme Real Estate and some other, you know, just kind of plain name real estate companies. And these people went out and started buying up acreage from farmers. And, you know, before you knew it, you know, these 3 or 4 companies had close to 4,000 acres. And then once they had all that secured and everything was closed, then Disney came in and said, bam, we bought up all this land and we're going to build Walt Disney World in Florida. And boy, have they. That thing has expanded, and it's a city unto itself. It
is, and they didn't even get season tickets out of it, huh?
No. What does a day pass go for? Is it a couple of hundred now?
I have some family members that went recently, and I think it might have been, if you get like those park hopper tickets, I think it kind of it starts adding up. But you're deciding, do you send your kid to college or do you go to Disney World? I mean, it's 50-50.
That's right. Gosh, a single day pass now to Disney World would be one course during a semester back in 1970.
Well, hey, listen, we're coming up on 1 hour as I'm looking at the little ticker up in the left corner of the screen we've got here. And we have enjoyed getting a chance to hang out tonight. It's been pretty cool to see all of the comments from folks far and wide. A lot of members of the classes of 1970 and 1971, some folks here in Fort Worth, here in Texas, folks across the world. We saw tweets from or messages from as far away as let's see, Korea. I believe, was it Korea or Hong Kong that I saw earlier that Janice was messaging from. But either way, international frogs weighing in, watching us tonight. Can't be together in person, but I think this is the next best thing, John.
No, it is, absolutely. I mean, a great job by our committees and the chairs, and also the folks at the TCU Alumni Association and the Block T Association. Happy to partner in this. And, you know, as we mentioned earlier, I mean, you know, don't make this a one-time deal. Get involved, stay involved. It's as easy to stay connected now as ever with all of the internet and the websites, and TCU Magazine is online, and, you know, there's the Block T Associations, blockt.tcu.edu, and alumni is alumni.tcu.edu. Get signed up, get involved, stay in touch. Great way to stay connected to all your classmates and to stay connected to the university. Yeah, this has been a blast. I've enjoyed it a bunch.
It's been a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody who took time out of their Thursday evening to hang out with us. Of course, this will continue to be online if you want to watch it back and enjoy the moments over again. But
don't you know they do?
A lot of folks behind the scenes worked very, very hard to put this together. So thank you to all of them as well. They know who they are, and without them, we couldn't have had a fun night like tonight. But I think there's one fitting way and one way only to wrap up the evening, John.
Oh, like at the end of a football game or any athletic event or end of graduation, get the frogs up and sing the alma mater. Let's do it.